Hello lovely people, welcome to my channel. It's Hila here, Saturday Night Stitch, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are. Today's video is a browse through of the final issue of 2023, and as it is December, my garden is mostly in hibernation at the moment, and the only thing that's got color are these winter jasmines that are sort of creeping up against the walls, and then there's like these little spots of yellow. They defy the weather, so even when it's been snowing and even when we've had loads of frost that has killed off everything else, these ones are just reliable little spots of color. They're not bright, they're not, overly big, but when you do catch a glimpse of them amidst all of the drabness of the wintry weather, it is a lovely sight to see. So wherever you are in the world, particularly if you're in the northern hemisphere, winter jasmines for you over here. So not quite as prolific obviously as the summer flowers, but there we go. Right, so we're gonna quickly go through this issue. I did like this issue. I thought that it had several items that I definitely want to make, and I hope I will be making. So the English issue here, it's got this particular cover. If you're following along with a different issue, you'll probably be aware that Burda does different covers for the different translations. Now, unfortunately, with our English translation, they do say 188 patterns. However, if you are new to Burda, just to point out, you're not actually getting 188 patterns. It's closer to something like 15 or 16. It's still excellent value considering £7.95, which would be the price of one envelope pattern from the big four, or 1/4 of an indie pattern. So it's still excellent value, but the 188 is including different sizes of the pattern. So just that little note out of the way. Right, so obviously they went with this whole big Spanish theme flavor and with the really rich reds, which suits in very well with Christmas, because most of the Northern Hemisphere and most of the world is probably celebrating Christmas. And so I thought that that was a really nice start to the year. So first off, I wanted to start off with this top here. This got me really excited in the previews because this looked like something that is infinitely wearable for me in winter. I run cold, so I need to be completely wrapped up, and this ticked all the boxes for me. Turtleneck, check. Tapered at the wrist, check. Slightly fitted and can be sewn in a knitted fabric, which is great for warmth. A little bit, so not so fitted that is body forming, but enough that I'm still able to wear my thermals underneath. So this was one of the ones that I actually really liked. My only gripe with it is I am worried about the neckline. I do not like how this neckline is sort of coming away. So bearing that in mind, I am going to make a 12 first, just using a knit fabric that I'm not particularly keen on. Then I will see what adjustments I can make so that that neck isn't quite falling away and that is closer, so that the neckline isn't falling away and that is closer to the neck. So I quite liked that one. So that was a good start to it. Now this particular dress, when I saw it in the previews, I wasn't very keen on it, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't particularly like the overlay of the black lace on the red personally, and then just having the mesh sleeves over here. I think that the line drawings did it more justice than the actual fashion styling that they did for it. So that one was a bit of a could be better executed. But I'm curious to see what people are going to do with that in the Burda sewing community, because I suppose you could make it without that lace overlay, and I think that you would have quite a nice dress otherwise. And then we've got some really fabulous jackets. I was so tempted by this jacket because it fits in a lot of the soft gamine detailing. It goes in tapering in at the waist, some shaped shoulder, knit trim neckline over here. But there's only so much time in the world, so we have to be more discerning. And then we've got another jacket here. I'm not sure what type of jacket this is because it looks like it's got a flap, a phalange thingy going on over here. Love the little tie detail where the cravat is coming out over here. So very masculine. So whereas this one has got a little bit more femininity to it, this one to me has got this very strong masculine, oversized look that is quite popular at the moment. And then we have an off-shoulder dress, which is perfect for New Year's with a little bit of a frill around here and some shaping. Love it. And this one goes up to size 44. So that would be quite nice. And then we've got a dress here, which this was the second one that I was not a big fan of at all. So I'm calling this the tourniquet dress because this looks like a tourniquet. Do you see that? It's not a tie. It's like a thing that's twisted in as if you're trying to curtail the circulation of something like that. And then on top of that, I feel like the sleeves are a bit much on top of this. Volume wise, I feel like it's violating the rule of volume where you have to go fitted at the top, voluminous at the bottom, or fitted at the bottom, voluminous at the top. It's just got so much volume everywhere. Maybe take off the sleeves or make it just one flatter sleeve rather than having 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So yeah. And then I think even the picture is not that flattering. I'm not going to look at this and think, oh, wow, I really want to make that. This one, however, is a great example of the blouse sleeves done right. I can see this being so popular, particularly with New Year's, because you have a really nice, at the base of it is a really nice shapely blouse with a concealed placket. So it's got that really clean, elegant, minimalist look. The stand collar with a little bit of detailing over there. Really fabulous. And it's been made in what looks like a... This is a viscose, so it's got like quite a lovely drape, almost a sensuousness to it. And you can see how that, I mean, completely impractical. You're not going to be able to cook or mix any cocktails with these sleeves in there, but you are going to look fabulous as you're drinking the New Year's champagne flute. So I'm keen to see what people are going to do with that one. For me, it's out because of the sleeves. I can't handle those sleeves. Right, and then we've got this lovely, spectacular dress, which actually, this section actually reminded me of one of the wearing Burdas that I did from, I think it was 2005. There were very similar silhouettes and styles with the ruching and the ruching on the side and then the asymmetrical hems. So, you know, it's nice to see some fashion styles coming back. So the ruching gives it a bit more of a overly feminine style. Okay, let's start off by looking at that tourniquet dress again. Yeah, this is not one of Burda's finest. I'm thinking of doing a roundup video where I look at all of the issues and pick out which one was like the worst design. And I think that this one would definitely be in there because even if you look at it on the pictures, right? So let's see if we zoom in. It's really, you know, you do a double take because you think, oh my days, what's happened? What's scrunched up here? Or when I was a kid and we get dressed in oversized clothes because we grew up too fast. And so you got clothes that were 2 to 3 sizes too big. My mom would use like an elastic band, literally an elastic band to hold it up for us. So they'd be on one side. You had to pick whether you wanted it to be on the front, on the back, or on the side, where she would basically scrunch up the excess fabric of the trousers or the skirt or the dress, and then literally tie an elastic band around it because there's too much fabric to use a safety pin. And they would tie the elastic band around it so that the dress wouldn't fall and drag or the trousers wouldn't fall and drag. And every time I see this, that is what I'm reminded of. So, yeah, I don't think that this worked. On the other hand, we do have a lovely A-line skirt with excess volume at the front over here and pockets and a waistband. And I don't think you can ever go wrong with that. Worn beautifully in the black and the white here. And they've added a belt over it. So fabulous on there. And then there's a tutorial on how to make a frogging for this really wonderful style jacket. And there's some Christmas crafts, which is really awesome. And then there's this Christmas tree craft, which I've seen for years, always wanted to do it, never got around to making it, but perhaps one of these days. And now this dress, I loved this dress, A, because it's a dress, 2, because it's pink, and 3, because it's got intricate detailing. Love how they've put the darts in here. So this is like a massive French dart, but that goes all the way up, and it's got an R. It's almost as if it's saying, look at my face. Beautiful seam detailing. Not a big fan of these pockets here, because this just would not be functional at all. So they are purely ornamental, and so I don't think these need to be there. I would just take these off. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful. One day I would love to make something like this, actually. Really would. And then for the chaps, or quite unisex actually, when you look at the lines, it's just a very simple winter basic that you can make with quilted fabric, and you finish it off with some bias binding over there. So very simple, easy makes. So this particular section has got very, very easy makes. And then we have what I like to call the duvet skirt over here, because of the fabric that they have used is that thick quilted fabric. This one looks like it's a polyester. Yeah, because normally these types of quilted fabrics are polyesters. I don't see why you'd need to have a zipper on there. That's just adding unnecessary work. And in December, we're so busy. And then we've got that thick teddy fleece fabric. Again, so super, super cuddly. Made into what looks like a sporty bomber jacket style. And I think that that looks fabulous. I always find it so hard not to stroke these fabrics whenever I see somebody wearing them, because they look so tactile, don't they? But yeah, I can see my kids loving this fabric. And then we've got the duvet poncho. The duvet poncho, wherein literally you could just take a duvet, fold it in half, cut it up, add a zipper, put some holes, finish it, and boom, you've got that. I mean, she looks very, very happy to be wearing her duvet outside, and it will keep you very, very warm. And then we have all of the patterns available on here. So as you can see, if you are new to Burda and this is your first time, as you can see, it is not actually 118 patterns that we have on here. It is much less than that, but it is still really good value, which is why I love my Burda magazines, and which is one of the reasons why I collect them. Okay, so we have over here this dress with the pleating that gives it shaping, and then neckline. I'm getting such a sense of deja vu. I feel like I've seen this within the last couple of months. And yeah, so this one is made in a polyester. I suppose you could make it in a viscose crepe. Not very suitable for winter, in my opinion. What is more suitable for winter is this very simple shift dress. They've called it a jeans dress, but that's just because they've used a denim. But this is something that you could make in a wool, in a substantial fabric that is more structured and more stable, which provides you more warmth, because as you can see from the model, it does seem to have a lot of ease on it. The shaping seems to me to be minimal, because looking at it on the model, it doesn't look like it has a lot of shaping. For any broad-shouldered ladies like me out there, these are a red flag. These are very hard to fit around broader shoulders. And as you can see on the model, I think she does have broader shoulders. You can see the line over here, the drag that is happening because there isn't enough fabric in there to fit the shoulders. So, but I think that if you've got nice petite shoulders, this is a lovely, lovely silhouette. And then for the men, you've got this oversized quilted jacket shacket thing that you can make with a, this one's been made with a tweed, but you could make this with those pre-quilted fabrics, and they seem to be around a lot in the shops. That's one thing that I have noticed. And then we've got another cozy jacket, super quick to sew up, that is finished with some bias binding all around over here. It does have some darts, which I'm struggling to see what shape they're adding on there. I can't see it. It is missing pockets. A jacket like this, you need to have pockets, whether they're patch pockets or something like that, you need to have them. Okay, and then we've got jacket over here, or shacket, the jackets that kind of look like shirts. Currently, if you go everywhere around the high street, you're seeing these in lumberjack style fabrics, so that's quite interesting. And they have the pockets over here. and they're quite comfortable to wear. I got one for my second son, and he likes it. He thinks that it's a very comfortable thing to wear. It's nice and thick, and he tends to wear a t-shirt underneath, and he leaves it open. He has been made in a very uninspiring beige color that's just blending in with the background, but to each their own, I suppose. Okay, and then we've got some very 90s style trousers, again, that I experience in a resurgence. So if you've got the 90s issues of Burda, you can get some of these OG patterns. But yeah, we've got that kick flare that happens at the knee, and obviously there's the emphasis that comes in over here. I definitely would not recommend doing contrasting fabrics. I think that would look very strange, even though normally I'm a big fan of that. Okay, so then we've got the lengthened version of that coat before that we had, the jacket, and it's got the deep pockets. And again, I'm not sure what this is adding, because when I look at it, it's sort of, you know, it's very mellifluous and free-forming almost. It's very interesting. Curious to see if this gets made up and whether what that would look like originally. Oh, and then this one, surprisingly, the more that I browsed through this issue, this one ended up catching my eye a little bit, because it does look quite interesting. And it's because so remember this one, the issue that I have with it is I sort of don't like how the neckline is kind of falling away from the neck. I thought that this one doesn't have the same issue because it sort of tapers in, but it has this zipper thing here. But I was thinking if I make this in a suitable enough fabric and widen this neck a bit, I should be able to just make it a pullover. So that's something that I'm going to experiment with, because I do like the look of this one a lot better, particularly when I see, and it looks like it hits the mid-hip area, and it would be nice and warm. The sewing lesson is the jacket shacket with the hooded top. Oh, and I really loved this in terms of styling and just an inspirational look. I loved how they did this one, the flowers in winter thing. It was just really spot on and excellent work to whoever did that. But we've got that tourniquet dress again, and just because of the styling and the fabric choice and how it's fitting in, I think that the tourniquet dress doesn't look as bad in here. You know, I definitely thought that, you know, this is a great example of how when you do a magazine editorial and you're trying to sell something to people, the styling also counts in, because I could forget just for a moment, though, only for a moment, the tourniquetness of this particular dress here. So, and then we have, this, I love this blouse so much. It's just, I'm a big fan of concealed plackets, because I think that they just add an extra touch of elegance. And then it's got a very neat collar, tiny little collar with just this little turn down over here, some shaping at the back, and you've got the bust shaping. My only thing that I don't like, that I think doesn't fit with the overall clean, elegant minimalism that is going on here, is the elasticated cuffs. So if I make this, I would be going full on. I'd be going full in and actually doing proper cuffs with some pleating and the little cuff detail there. That is my only gripes with it, but I love it. And again, the entire styling, though I'm not an autumn, right? I'm not a soft autumn. I love everything about this. It's so warm. It's inviting. It's, yeah, I liked that. To wax, okay, let me stop waxing lyrical about this. But it's always nice when I do come across an editorial that really just hits all of the right notes. And then we have this lovely trouser style, particularly lovely when it's tapered in, not with these extra belts. I think that these are too extra, for want of a better word. I'm really not going to be bothered putting in little tabs here so that I can then thread these in. No, I would just be putting in the cuff to give it that tapered look. And it does look quite nice. The way that they've styled it here as well is really lovely. And then we have, okay, now this one, when I first saw it, right, I thought, oh, that's quite interesting because it's similar to that top that we talked about that has the V and then it finishes off here. But we've integrated the scarf because, I mean, Burda is trying to make this a thing. They're trying to make it a thing whereby you don't have to worry about forgetting your scarf. Your scarf is just attached to your dress, so you never have to worry about it. And it just looks awkward to me at the back. So I think that the back neckline, it just goes down too far for it to be an autumn wear or a winter wear top. And then you have the scarf issue, which to me, it doesn't make any sense because where are you going to put the scarf if you don't feel like having the scarf? You know, it's going to be extraneous. Is it tucked in? So here on the picture, we can see it's going around here, right? But here at the front of the picture, it's just draping. At the back, is it just, you know, it just, yeah, it doesn't, in a way, it's better if it was draping at the front, if it was designed so that it was draping at the front, and then you could use a pin or a brush in order to keep it in place. Whereas if you wear it like this, it's just going to be flapping at the back and then interrupting the neckline. So maybe you loved the neckline, right? But then you just kind of have this cutting out the, yeah. I thought that it didn't quite work. I think that the idea was great, but the execution sort of failed a little bit. And then we have here, again, lovely iteration of these trousers over here. And they look so beautiful in the velvet. I think that this style works really well with the velvet, actually. And it also helps that she's got the long legs to really carry off this look. But yeah, again, everything is so cohesive and so beautifully put together. Oh, now, this two-piece set was another one that did catch my eye because I've been looking for a simple little cardigan pattern, particularly to make for spring. And I thought that this is definitely one. So I am going to trace this out and try and make this to see if this will work as an addition to my separates for my capsule wardrobe. And then the skirt, at first on the line drawing, I was attracted to it, but then I didn't like how it looked on the model. So first of all, it was much longer than I thought it was. And yes, I can simply shorten it. That's no problem. But it looks like it's got a lot of excess fabric on there. So that sort of made me rethink my initial attraction to it. But this one, definitely. So that was item number 3 that I definitely want to make. Okay, and then we've got this, it's now a jacket, a coat, but before we saw it as a jacket and it was just going up to there and it's been lengthened and it's got these gigantic welt pockets over here. So very, very loose style. And we have this, this is just a straightforward shift dress with very little shaping. There are busts that's on here, but that's not evident from over there. But the styling is outstanding. For me, I could picture myself in something that's magenta with the tights and black and boom. And then, oh, I've seen this top before. I've seen this top and I think I may have traced it. And I think it's somewhere from, I don't know, I'm thinking around 2018 or 2019 era. But this sort of faux wrap style top that is then worn over either a shirt or a top. I'm not a big fan of those for winter. I do think that it just adds unnecessary bulk without the warmth that it is supposed to deliver. So the sewing lesson is a coat, which I think is always a nice thing to have the more advanced patterns as a sewing lesson, because somebody who might be wanting to dip their toes into sewing something more advanced, all of the step-by-step instructions are over there. And so this is what we have with this particular issue. So I found quite a few separates that I definitely want to make up and add onto my wardrobe. Now it's your turn. Do let me know. Are you going to be making anything from this issue? Have you already made anything from this issue? And did I miss something that you think is just a really great pattern? But I thought overall, this was a really good issue with a lot of decent separates that covered a wide range of body types, and I think that that's really fantastic when they have that. I loved the styling that they did on the dried flowers one. That just the aesthetics on that was just so lovely and so inspiring, and it's one of the things that makes collecting these issues quite enjoyable. Sometimes the aesthetics, they're always just a nice part of it. So anyway, I will see you in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, please do hit the like button and subscribe if you've stayed until the end. Thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate you. So do just say Winter Jasmine so that I can know who are the rock stars that have hung out with me until the end. And until I see you next time, lovelies, I wish you blue skies and good health and happy sewing. Bye.